Fluid function in Squamish. Brandon Semenuk, about hometown.
Hometown. It's my shop just down the street from my house.
This is Wizard's place, right?
Yeah, this is Wizard's fluid function slash ceram space. So I mean, they do a lot of media bikes, SRAM related products and athlete stuff here. But then he also runs his suspension tuning company, which is Fluid Function.
Okay, so Brandon Semenuk, Trek Session. Brandon, this doesn't look like a 650 bike. 26-inch wheels, right?
Yeah. So this is actually the Session Park, which I helped develop with Trek a few years back. We just wanted a bike that was Session, but like a little bit more nimble, something you can toss around. And we came up with this. So it's basically the same front triangle, but we have a new new rear end and just a different kind of platform that gives the bike. So the suspension acts differently, short rear end, 26-inch wheels.
So can you just tell us what's the decision to go for 26-inch wheels?
I mean, for me, I'm jumping the bike lots and I'm throwing it around lots. So in the air, obviously, 26-inch wheels are a smaller sail to get caught by wind, this and that, and then I
guess you get caught in the wind quite a bit, don't you?
Sometimes, yeah. So I mean, and then just tossing it around smaller wheels. It's a little bit more, it's a little snappier.
It's a carbon front end, aluminium back end. What's going on here?
Yep. So carbon front end, aluminum back, carbon link still though. And the bike still fits exactly like a large, but it's just the rear end's a lot shorter, so it's just a lot easier to get the bike up. But yeah, I ride the stock bikes too, and it still feels like a large.
Let's go quickly through the makeup of the bike. You got Truvative bar, Stevie Smith bar.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Little tribute.
Yeah. Chromag grips, Brandon. Sort of. I notice you run the bar ends there. You don't go for the kind of single clamp version.
No, I mean, I like to know my stuff's locked on there good. So a lot of my other bikes I'll run just a straight old school slide on BMX grip, but for the downhill bike, riding in the rain, clamp it on, big wide grips.
Bar width?
Full length, so 780.
We're looking at code brakes. It's a full code setup. Quite small discs, Brandon.
Yeah, I mean the codes are my favorite brakes, and they're powerful enough for me because I'm not that heavy of a guy. So I run the 180 rotors just to tame them down just a little bit. I never have a problem with them overheating, or I never have a problem with not having enough power. So I just keep everything this kind of a little bit more compact.
How do you hold the grips? How do you have your brakes? How do you hold they're quite way out, aren't they?
I think I'm medium. I try and just keep it a little bit back from my knuckles so I don't ever hit my finger while I'm braking.
Okay, wheels. Obviously these have had a bit of a beating. Tires. What you got tire choice here?
Maxxis. So this is my Rampage setup. I run Maxxis tires. I run the 2.7 in the front, so it just stays up on the soft dirt a lot easier and just more stability. And then I've got the new Minion rear 2 in the back. This is a 2.4.
What kind of pressures you run in these?
For a Rampage setting, it would probably be around 35. So, I mean, hard enough to carry lots of speed for the jumps, but soft enough to still get some good traction. I mean, on the trails, I run a lot less. I actually prefer even a sub 25 in the front with the 2.7, just because it's so high volume, you can get away with the lower pressure. It's been fun.
Chromag, a few Chromag parts on this bike.
Yeah, so I have my Chromag series. I mean, I have a grip that I normally run on my slope bikes called the Wax Grip, and then this is my signature seat, the Overture, and then these are my signature pedals, the Contact pedals.
The wheels, Brandon. Does your man Sean build the wheels for you? You must go through a few sets, surely.
I mean, we build all the wheels for my bikes in this shop. Sean and the other Sean, both are amazing at wheel building, so they build my wheels. I only really trust those guys. Yeah, and I mean, these were actually prototype rims from Bond Trigger, but I think they're in the line for the 27.5 bikes now, and I love them. So I actually saved this set of wheels for Rampage in particular.
Right. Okay. They've had a fair beating, haven't they? Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, they've been on the bike for I mean, since October now.
Yeah.
So I've been riding this bike ever since, and yeah, they're pretty beat.
I mean, they don't. These wheels don't spend much time on the ground, considering, do they?
Not as much as others, maybe. XO1 drivetrain. They put some fancy gold stuff on it when I went to Rampage because they had all the gold XO1 stuff from the World Cups, and I managed to score a couple. So yeah, just
Carbon cranks.
carbon cranks, stiff. They're burly too. I mean,
Talking about stiffness, you got a 650 spring on this bike. What's your height and weight?
I'm 6'1", 175 pounds, so it's definitely a big spring. Normally I'd run a little less for just downhill riding, but Rampage, I needed something that would stand up, you know, can just handle the big hits without going through the travel.
You must be coming in from some height to bottom that bloody thing out.
Yeah, that's proper right there. That's like, I'll never quite reach bottom out with that.
Yeah.
But it's still really supple off the beginning, the way we've tuned the shock. So, I mean, it still feels really great, but once you hit really hard, the shock ramps fast. So, I mean, it's really hard to make it to bottom out.
And what about like the rebound tune on a bike that's made for this purpose?
I mean, in this shop here, we've dove into the suspension, and that stuff's a little bit different than maybe a stock shock. So, yeah, like I said, like it's a really like quick, supple, just top to it, where the rebound's really active, and then once you blow through, the rebound really slows. So when you come back, you're not catapulted off the bike after a big hit.
And what about up front? That's a standard boxer, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty stock. We open it up, play with it a little bit. I add some tokens just to get that same ramp, so it's kind of neutral front to back.
Yeah. Sort of pressure-wise, again, what are you looking at?
I'm like 110 with 3 tokens in the front.
I guess in a way it's like sort of the small supercross guys running sort of setups, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just riding style. Like a lot of people are like, I can't believe you can run this setup. And I mean, I wouldn't normally run this setup for a trail setting, but when you go to Rampage, like this is kind of what you need to be competitive. Yeah, and you look at the supercross guys, they're tiny, they're lighter than me, but if I got on their supercross moto, I wouldn't even be able to move the suspension, but because they have that riding style and the ability, they make that bike work for them. So, I mean, it's along the same lines of this.
Yeah. Well, this seems to work for you, doesn't it? Brandon, thanks very much for going through that at Wizard's Workshop. Nice one.
Yeah, thanks, Jazzy.
Well, that's the bike then, Brandon. What's this truck end? Is she on a 16 plate?
A 16 plate?
Yeah. Is it a new vehicle?
I guess, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I didn't know what a 16 plate was. Yeah. She's like 8 months old now.
Okay. 5 litre?
6.6. Duramax.
Just a job on fire roads then?
It's a work truck.
What do you mean, you got more than one truck?
No, but I got other vehicles.
Yeah.
And this is the one that carries the tanks and tows the machines.
Yeah.
Just carries all the derelicts.
Yeah. I did a bit of kit for the fire roads, isn't it?
Oh, she's alright on the fire roads.
What can we get on the music front?
Yeah, what do we got?
Number 1 in family fun. Go to
This is pretty much the only radio station we get in Squamish.
Right.
It's a little fuzzy.
the backyard. Stepping stones.
What's is this where you get your vehicles fixed down the road here?
Yeah, we go to
Ray Hinchcliffe's?
Yeah. We hit up Fred.
Pop-up tents for the yard.
Oh, Fred Hinchcliffe's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good lad, is he?
He's a good lad.
Yeah.
He's
$20 an hour? What's his rate?
yeah, I mean, it depends on how many beers you bring by.
Yeah.
But I mean, it could be anywhere from like $20 an hour to 200.
Okay, right. Nice. Here we are on a bit of Squamish Fire Road.